Hey YouTube, just thought today I'd share a bit of wisdom that was hard bought with blood, but I figured that some of you people can learn from my mistake and not make the same one. So I'll start out with the story, how about that? This Friday, not 2 days ago, but a couple weeks ago, I think it was 8 days today, yeah. I went camping with the Boy Scout troop, my Boy Scout troop, and I was out there Friday night, and we were getting a fire going. We were kind of rushing to get it going, too, because we had stuff to cook. So that was mistake number one, rushing. Number two, it was very dark out, so I had a guy holding a flashlight while I was splitting wood with an axe, this axe. Lastly, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And I knew it was not safe, but I did it anyways. And I paid the price for it. So I might as well show here. This is my axe. I restored it. I found a really old, actually it's Craftsman brand. I don't know if you can see that there. It's Craftsman brand axe. And replaced the handle on it. It came out beautifully. But I was splitting wood with this axe here. And just a demonstration. I haven't touched this since I cut myself, but it just goes through paper like nothing. It's very sharp. But I was using the axe, and essentially what happened is I had the wood in my hand like this, put the axe head on the wood, and then was going up and down to start it, but then I'd pull my hand away and then finish slicing through it with the axe. But I came up, and that head came off the wood, and I came back down right on my wrist there. So pretty much immediately after it happened, I knew I was not going to be there for the rest of the weekend. I may or may not have let out a curse word, and then from there on, it was all composed, and I know I was the least freaked out person there because how it worked is we were the Spartan Patrol. That's the older Scout Patrol, a bunch of guys my age. 5 of us were I don't know, a quarter mile from camp, I guess. And we were set up all the way away from everyone else. And immediately after I cut myself, slapped my palm down on top, holding the flap of skin together, preventing the blood from coming out. And I sat down at the picnic table I was splitting wood at, and I said, "Eric, will you go grab the first aid kit, please? It's in the top pocket of my backpack." He grabbed it. Told him where to find the gauze. We poured some quick clot, you know that stuff, on there and had that wrapped up. And really, it was the response time of the guys was just amazing. I think within 90 seconds or 2 minutes, 90 seconds to 2 minutes, I was all the way wrapped up, and the bleeding was pretty much stopped. That's what I mean. If you ever want to get first aid training, Boy Scouts is a great place to do it, depending on what troop you have, because we'd just been practicing and doing drills so often that by the time something actually happened, it was just, you didn't even think about it, just did stuff. So while he was bandaging me up, I sent for the adults. They came up there, and oh man, it was deep. So we took the gauze off just for a second so they could see it, put it back on there. While we took it off, which, just so you know, you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to leave the gauze on, and if it gets sodden with blood, you put more over the top of it so you don't bust the clots that formed already on the cut. And so when we took the gauze off, they saw, man, that's going to need stitches, we're out of here. I spurted a little bit of blood, so that should give you an indication of how deep it was. It's a pretty deep cut. And then, since we had the bleeding stopped already, we decided to drive back to the critical center by where I live. We were at Little Sioux Scout Ranch, yeah. And anyways, we spent the 45-minute drive out there. Got to the emergency room. They laid me down, did the Novocaine stuff in my hand, sewed me up. They only gave me 3 stitches because I wanted to leave a gap for it to drain. But I'll put some pictures in there too of the cut. That's where the scar is. Pretty nasty looking. But it was pretty deep. By now, it's all the way sealed up. It's got to get closed. So what I was doing is I had the wood like this, and the axe blade came down like that. So, I just hope that some people learn from my mistake and do it safe, take your time. It's not worth ruining a camp out or, losing the blood or the medical bills or whatever. Do it right. And one thing I learned, I'm definitely not going to do this again. Too much of a hassle. So that's my lesson learned, and I hope you learned something off that too.